And we are live. Good evening, everybody. I'm James with the Table Talk of Jazz and James. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the LGBTQ and the legislations that's going against the LGBTQ. So, what I need you guys to do is to buckle in, get your popcorn and get your juice, get your coffee, get it on. Because James is about to let them have it with these laws, contradicting laws. So, I will be right back and we will get started. Okie dokie smoky. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, lawmakers perpetrated an unprecedented assault on the LGBTQ community. Now, according to the Equality Federation of the LGBTQ plus advocacy organizations, that closely tracks and combats the state level almost 400 anti-LGBTQ bills and families to erase the LGBTQ people from education curriculum, to deny them the transgenders, period, their access to health care, prohibiting them to play sports on the transgender youth, participate in school sports. In fact, many of them, the bills were extreme. It introduced delays in the last legislation, specifically. Federation went to the ban on the transgender youth. Now, all of this is affecting the people in the school. They're calling the Federation estimates that last year, more than 100 bills were introduced. And that was just to ban the transgender youth from playing in sports, from persuading sports consistent with the gender identity. Some of these bills would require unnecessary medical examinations. That's invasive. Another 64 bills would require an unnecessary and invasive medical exams on another 64 bills. That's crazy. These are the people that we put in the power, that are making these laws, that are making these legislations, and we keep putting up with it. These things that are some of the things that we'll be talking about tonight and more. I got some reports from CNN. I got some reports from the 2020 legislation landscape. It's bad, y'all. So this is a 30-minute special edition of the Table Talk with James. So, what I'm going to say is, are you ready? Because goddamn it, I'm ready. So, the majority of these bills that came into play, it was done more so by the Republican Party. I'm so sick of them. The Republican Party has shown the examples of what they really are because they can't even work together as a unit. So, go figure. So last year, state lawmakers perpetrated an unprecedented number of legislation, like I said in the opening. These lawmakers commenced 2020 legislation sessions. These attacks are poised just to continue. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, as of January 28th, there were approximately 120 anti-LGBTQ bills active in almost 30 states. These passage of these kind of bills significantly restricts the rights of LGBTQ people, period. A recent study of these bills by the Williams Institute estimates that Arkansas passed bill denying medical care to transgender youth with approximately 1,400 young people at the age of 13 and above across the state, depriving them of medical necessary, best practice medical care, and have life-saving effects. That's bad. How in the hell can the government make these decisions on humans? This issue is not an issue for humans to make the decision. This issue is an issue for that man upstairs to make a decision when you go see St. Peter. That's not for us down here. It's not. These legislative laws are controlling. And even though we're in a Democratic administration right now, they're still going towards an authoritarian government, is what my feelings. Now, many transgender and non-binary youth, they state that they were feeling stressed, using self-harm, and considering suicide due to anti-LGBTQ laws being debated in their state. That's crazy. So according to the Equality Federation, there were 400 approximate number of anti-LGBTQ bills introduced in the state in 2021. 120 of them bills were introduced in the state as of January 28th of 2022. And that's from the American Civil Liberties Union. Now, these legislations are the latest attempts of anti-equality organizations to advance this dangerous agenda after losing the right fight against the marriage equality. So they got mad because they lost the fight against the marriage equality. So some people will say, well, why do you agree with it, James? Not because I am who I am. It's because everybody deserves rights. Their list goes on and on and on what these Republicans are doing. So part of my job here at the Table Talk with James and Jazz is I am supposed to bring out the legalities and the issues that we have. Because I'm not scared. I have no issue with confronting these politicians because I vote. It doesn't matter what my registration is, but I am a proud Democrat. But I have a lot of conservative views. So these and more things are just coming up and up and up and under fire. So the legislation attacks, they were latest attempts of anti-equality organizations to advance their dangerous agendas after losing the fight against the marriage equality, like I said, and seeing that public support for this extreme positions evaporate as the American people become increasingly supportive of the LGBTQI equality. These extremes coordinate campaigns against the LGBTQ rights and transgender youth. We reached out today to get some views from some of the senators, and they won't do it. That's frustrating, people. That's very frustrating for me. I got a question here in the chat room right now, here on Bright. And thanks, Julie. She is asking, what is my position on the LGBTQ transgenders? Well, personally, I don't agree with changing this because my thought is it defeats the purpose of who you are. And it says that my maker made a mistake and he makes no mistakes. So whether or not I support or I approve, that's not my business. What you do with your body and what you do with your transition, that's your business. I'm still going to respect you the same and keep my personal views to myself. That's right for anybody. And of course, yeah, it may sound contradictory or whatever, but it's not. It is your right to do what you want to do with yourself. Not my business, not my problem. When I go and see St. Peter at the end, I'm hoping he was saying, come on in. But that I don't know. Anywho, back to the story. So, state lawmakers across the U.S. has introduced at least 162 bills targeting the LGBTQ America this past year through July. Now, according to CNN analysts of data compiled by the American Civil Liberties Union, already a record-breaking year for such legislation. Bills is spread across 35 states, 27 of which the legislation controlled by Republicans. Those are the people that have the problem. Republicans are so backwards, secretive, good old boys. They're lawmakers that I feel that have no control at home. So they run for office so they can have some kind of control and make them feel like a man. Me personally, you bitches. All of you. So anyways, most of these bills introduced this year targeted transgenders and non-binary people with particular emphasis on transgender youth. These issues have seized and run up midterm elections, predominating in the Republican-led states. The ACLU tracks the anti-LGBTQ legislation by focusing on bills specifically attacking and targeting those people, which include measures restricting school curricula, like I said, and the things that deal with LGBTQ and religious exemption bills. I thought it was supposed to be separation of church and state, which it don't seem. So to the youth, bearing access to the use of appropriate facilities like restrooms, restricting trans students' ability to fully participate in school and sports, allowing religiously motivated discrimination against trans people. Now, when your President Obama introduced these bills and allowed transgenders to use the bathrooms and all that stuff, to me, that's an opening of a bad can of worms. So that's another reason why I don't support this, because they can take any weirdo to dress up in whatever they want to be, a woman or a man, and see somebody's child in the bathroom. And you already know what the end of that story is. And me being a father and a grandfather, I don't support that. But I don't support the Republicans making these anti-bills either. It's private business. It's none of their business. So now this rise in these anti-bills comes as more and more young people publicly identify as transgender, both aiding the community overall visibility in society and fueling an intense political reaction. That goes back to what I had the story on earlier on in the week about the two guys that are on social media, and they're just too gay for social media. So I'm urging the parents out there, monitor the social media that your children are watching. Monitor the interaction that they have with others that have access to like YouTube and all of those things. These places are good places. Don't get me wrong, because I'm on YouTube. YouTube helping me in my move and my endeavors. And they're not there to micromanage what your children are watching. You're there to micromanage that. Now, Williams Institute at UCLA School of Law, they found that the number of people between the ages of 13 and 17 who identify as trans doubled from an estimated 150,000 in 2017 to about 300,000 by 2022. That's what I have a problem with. Excuse me. And I kind of blame social media. I kind of blame this influx of all these shows that are coming on television. Folks, don't get me wrong. I am who I am. And I love myself. But at the same time, this is not a wall of advertisement. What you do in your home, in your private bedroom, is your private business. It's not for public knowledge. Now, yeah, maybe, granted, an adult may see a man and a woman and a woman. But folks, come on. Children are very impressionable. And I think that's why that influx, or I wouldn't say influx, the growth from 150,000 doubled by 2022. Lesbianism and homosexuality is not a fad. It is a way of life for many people around the world. And it shouldn't be up to no government officials or legislators to make laws to control it. Washington, this is my message to you. Get your house in order and be ready. Because on that day, I don't think most of y'all are going to make it to the pearly gates. My opinion, my feeling. This is a very, very touchy topic, very, very big issue in our country. And I urge all of you, contact your registered politician for your state, Republican and Democrat. Urge them to sit down at their table at home and have these discussions with their family. See what their families do. Because I bet you 90% of their families do not support their platforms. They're just taking the money because, hey, it's their job. Politicians is more than a job. You're dealing with people's lives, lifestyles. Oh, you guys aren't God. Stop playing power. This country really needs to get a grip. But at the same time, I got to think about the principles that it was founded upon, and it was stolen. People that was over here. This is your boy James with the Table Talk with Jazz and James, coming to you live from my home with this special report. I thank you guys for taking the time out to come and view the show this evening on this special evening, just so that we can get some of this out. This is more than a 30-minute conversation, but I'm not going to take up more than the time that I asked you for on this evening, and I thank you for that. Remember, as I say every time I end the show, may God be with you, bless you, and keep you, and shape you into the person that He wants you to be. Use your conscious mind, not your unconscious mind, to make your decisions. And remember, if nobody told you today, I love you. Thank you, guys. I'm James. I bid you good day.